Oh my god. I will, yeah.
You will what?
Hello everybody, I'm cocoacosmos, and I remembered that the sequel to this movie exists, but I figured I'd start with the first one. It's your classic men versus women comedy. I don't think it's that bad of a movie honestly, but I really wanted to talk about the dynamics. It has a star-studded cast by the way, they had money to make this one. There's a whole opening narrated by Kevin Hart's character Cedric in which he basically explains how men operate. Then we get to his friends representing the different archetypes of men. The player, the mama's boy, the dreamer, the non-committer, and the happily married man. Cedric represents the even happier divorced guy. We will soon learn that's not true. He starts ranting about his soon-to-be ex-wife Gail, and they joke that they got divorced due to him being a victim of the domestic variety. 2012 was something else. Then they decide to go out when this guy Jeremy says he actually has a date with his girl. Well, apparently he should choose his boys over her because he cancels. Meanwhile, Kristen is watching Steve Harvey on the TV discussing the exact problem they're having. Why won't he propose? And literally the next 5 minutes, we get full view of who these men are in practice. They're all literally the worst, except for Dominic. I'm telling you, every friend group needs the grounded one. Too many dynamic personalities and things can get out of hand quickly. Oh, and they slide this joke in there.
Look, she just got the new Tyler Perry for colored girls.
Some crazy guys throws his kids out the window.
For those who don't know, he played the crazy guy in question. Steve Harvey has written a book for women to get insight on men. I bet you'll never guess what it's called. This is where we get introduced to the rest of our main ladies, who funnily enough all have dating issues that match the behaviors of our main men. Aya has problems with men who only want to hook up, Candace is a mom herself, and Lauren, God I love Taraji, has high standards for the men she dates. Now, Steve is on the TV trying to tell it like it is, and I agree with him. Until he says to compromise on your standards after he just told a different woman to get some standards. 6 figures, and I want my man to match that, I see no issue. If I want a man that has his own house, cars, etc., I see no issue with that. There's somebody for everybody, and if I can find a man who matches those qualifications, is also a good person, and I like him, what exactly is the problem? Also, him saying that if you're a mom and you're dating, you should tell the person you're dating up front, because if you wait too long and they're not into it, you've just wasted time. I disagree with that to a point. Now, keep in mind, I don't have any children and have no wish for any currently, but I would figure you'd at least give it a week or two to see if you even like the person. Like, warm it up some, test the waters. Because what if y'all decide it's not working out 3 dates in? No harm, no foul. Or they send up some red flags on the first date. It was never gonna get to the meet my kid stage in the first place. I say, go in with the intent to tell them as soon as possible, but possible doesn't have to be immediately. Unless you just want to rip that band-aid off. There's my rant for this video. Continuing the story. I got dipped on by this guy after getting them coffee. Had the audacity to take them both and didn't even remember her name. This unfortunately becomes a running gag. Now the women of the world and some men are glued to Steve's books basically snitching on men. I feel like it would never be this serious. She's so pretty. I just want to say, some of my favorite actresses are in this movie. Gabrielle Union, Taraji P. Henson, Regina Hall, and Jennifer Lewis. I love them all. So Michael recognizes Candace from high school at the bookstore. He was a big geek back then and had the biggest crush on her.
How could I forget my teenage crush? I used to look at you walk down the hallway.
Bro is me. They flirt a bit and he asks her on a date, but she says she has to pick up her son. She thinks it's a deal breaker until he suggests dinner instead of a coffee date. Moving to Kristen's situation. She wants to move on in her life, but Jeremy seems to be stuck in college. She's, quote unquote, one of the guys. In order to get to the next level in the relationship, she's gonna give him a gentle push.
It's time for a little spring cleaning. You first.
All the guys meet up at the gym and start talking about their women, then we see where Dominic spots Lauren. His coworkers say the obvious. She's way out of his league. Lauren and Candace are already friends, turns out, and Candace recounts how Michael asked her out, and we see the parallel between how women and men talk about each other. Candace sees him as something deeper than the surface, and some of the guys kind of sexualize her. It's a whole thing. Good thing Michael is a little soft. But then Candace whips out the book and Lauren can't believe the nonsense. She shouldn't have to lower her standards and lists them off. Apparently, they match her married ex, and Candace finds a chapter about the type of woman she is. She's very Capricorn coded. He found the spring cleaning. Kristen says she wants to repaint and redecorate so their place looks more mature. And he's confused because he thought she liked all the figurines and stuff. I'm about to add my 2 cents again. You can have a mature looking apartment with your collectibles on display, but in their case, it gets to a point. Because look at their couch. It's been through hell and back. He literally found it in a dumpster. He looks so sad while she talks about paint colors and then asks if she could just do the decorating solo. She couldn't agree quick enough. This guy again. Let's get into my favorite dynamic. And by favorite, I mean I hate this man. He's so fucking useless. So Maya's plan is to not sleep with the next guy she's interested in for 90 days.
Whatever happened to respect for women? Whatever happened to decorum?
I hate a pandering ass man. Oh my fucking god. She calls him out on all the things, but then he makes a joke. Why does this work? Here comes my actual favorite dynamic. So Dominic has to go help the valets when he spots Lauren. He literally steals, borrows someone else's car that he doesn't know how to work to ask her out. Lauren decided to read the book since she has it, but she's really not having it. The chapter she's on says men want to be providers and we should just let them or else they won't like us. Sweet Jesus. Boys are back at the gym and they're talking about how Dominic met Lauren. He got fired for his stunt, but he's got a nice spot set up to take her to. These two are telling him to lie because he's broke. He doesn't want to, and the married guy says he shouldn't. This guy says if a woman likes you, she'll put up with anything. Which is kinda true, but they're varying degrees. Also, I don't like that it came from him, because we know why he said it. Been together 9 years and not even so much of a discussion of a ring. Nothing wrong with not wanting it in the first place, but they never even discussed it. These men are the worst. I'm sorry. Jeremy comes home in the middle of the redesign and he looks like he's about to have a meltdown. A soft one, but he gets to keep his old raggedy chair. Maya's trying to find the perfect outfit for the date. She doesn't want to look too sexy because, according to the book, she wants to be a keeper and not a sports fish. Now there's a hit list involved. It's basically her non-negotiables for the first date. I actually agree with this one.
Chirp, chirp. He just hits the locks and you hop in. He don't even have to open the door.
Don't be a chirp chirp girl unless you don't care either way. Let that man open the door for you. I don't care either way, honestly, but I think it's endearing when it's done for me. Time for the dates. Lauren is as beautiful as ever, Dominic is a gentleman, and Cedric ruins the mood with his comedic relief. He says she doesn't date men who don't open the door for her, and he pulls off as a joke, but comes back and opens the door for her. It wasn't funny. Steve says you should ask a man about his goals to see if he has an actual plan. That goes as well as you'd expect with Kristen and Jeremy. Michael says he just wants someone to share his life progress with. He works hard on improving himself and he just wants someone next to him. Maya asks and he cracks another joke. Here's the weird thing about Dominic and Lauren's date. Lauren downplays herself and Dominic upsells himself. Both trying to be what the other might like, but also neither wanting to talk about work. Then she pops the goals question. This kinda bothers me because of what happens in the movie down the line. He says he wants to open his own restaurant one day, and she says that having a dream is good, and you can make any dream come true as long as you work for it. Kristen is still trying to have a serious conversation about the future, but they made the mistake of taking a couple puffs beforehand, if you catch my drift. Maya asks again about this man's goals, and he unsurprisingly has none. The radio plays a song she likes, and turns out he had a band once. Even had a record deal. I just want you to look at the CD cover. Then he plays his favorite track, and she acts like it's the best thing since sliced bread, making it this deep thing. Things went well with Dominic and Lauren. Michael and Candace are on the opposite end of that spectrum, but still get a good night kiss. But then we start talking about meeting mothers and sons, and I'm flabbergasted. It was just the first date, golly. The boy comes to lay down the law, but the interaction is pretty cute. Maya kisses him real PG-13-like, but she tries to hold him off. She's sticking to her 90 days. That man is so fine, Lord have mercy. So it's tomorrow, and he made her a creative breakfast. There's talk of next time, and she gets a little choked up. Then he learns that Candace and she are best friends. She's literally Duke's godmother. Meanwhile, this dude is spiraling. Because she wouldn't let him hit, he's got a whole lot to say. First, she didn't let him hit. And then she even made him open the door for her. Oh, the humanity. By the way, Cedric's whole character is just him bitching about his ex-wife. I'll let you know now. Men exhaust me sometimes. He says he's gonna end it and asks her out to dinner again, but Maya takes matters into her own hands and says she doesn't go out with guys who ask her out via text message. In comes Dominic, and he's absolutely screwed because now Lauren thinks he's an up-and-coming chef. He wants to be honest so bad, but Dumb and Dumber are telling him otherwise. Lauren sees it differently though.
I don't even know how much he makes. Whoa. And you know what? I don't care. I believe in his dreams.
Now we get to Michael and his mom. She thinks it's a bad idea for him to date a single mom, but he's hell-bent on convincing her otherwise. And this guy just doesn't like change. That's all his problem is. Cedric is narrating this like the women are organizing a drone strike. Meanwhile, they just want them to stop acting silly. Kristen gives Jeremy another little nudge, but this time about his career. The guys figure out that Candace and Lauren know each other. The girls love it, but the guys are weird about it because double dates are a possibility. Cedric causes issues with the big tall ball players. It's always the little one. Then the other shoe drops on Dominic and Lauren's situation. Michael's mom is weird with Candace. They expand on this whole thing in the sequel. It's just awful. I like the sequel better than this one as a whole though. The thing is that the mom is not just a boy mom. He's most definitely a mama's boy. Zeke and Maya have approached their 5th date, so this means he gets invited in now.
So it's kind of small, but I really got it for the French windows.
I can't stand people with money. He plays one of her records to set the mood while she goes to get more comfy. She got coffee! He still drove he didn't hit, but instead they had proper conversation.
So when you gonna see her again? Saturday night, mind your business.
This made me laugh, and I hate that it did. This is literally the worst running gag. Lauren is starting to stress because Dominic is a commoner. Dominic is pretty bummed about it. Candace wants to step back from Michael because of the obvious. But then, following Steve's book, they decide to stick it out because there's no such thing as the perfect man. The guys go out to celebrate Cedric's official divorce. Then they start comparing conversations they've had with their girls and find too many similarities. Bennett tells them about the Steve Harvey book and they get to work trying to hunt down a copy, but it's sold out everywhere. Michael's mom interrupts guy time, so the party moves to her house. Conveniently, his mom has a copy of the book. They all feel incredibly attacked, especially the one with no aspirations. It's his idea to start using their new knowledge of men against them. Commence Operation Manipulation. The funniest thing about this situation is that they're actually bettering themselves, so in the end, the women still win. Michael says he'll put Candace before his mom. Kristen's dude works on his resume for a better company. Dominic impresses Lauren with his taste in wine and chef skills, even asks for her help with a business plan. Zeke is just a blatant asshole. He's pitching a fit because he actually has to be a gentleman to Maya, and Bozo over here is encouraging him to trick her. Zeke is adamant that he's letting her go, until she surprises him with John Legend tickets. After the concert, she tells him that she gave his CD to her record-producing uncle for him to check out. Then they run into one of his old friends, who accidentally reveals how freaked out Zeke is. Then, Zeke does the thing. He introduces Maya as his girlfriend. I hate this man so much. Maya almost folded too. Almost. These men are absolute demons. Maya says she might even amend her 90-day rule, but only for the big I love you. Everybody's all loved up and spending quality time together. Then it all comes crashing down. Bozo never sent in his resume even though he told Kristen he did, and she's so disappointed in him. Lauren runs into her rich, successful, and supposedly married ex. Morris Chestnut, still very fine. He's divorced now and Lauren is folding like origami. Forgot all about poor Dominic. Michael slips up and admits he was at his mom's house when he was supposed to be at work. Candace lets it slide after a poorly made excuse and invites him to her family reunion on the 20th. Michael says he can't make it because of his mom. Maya's uncle wants to meet with Zeke because he likes his music, and out of surprise at her kindness, he lets the 3 magic words slip out accidentally. This man doesn't deserve it! Maya, no! While Zeke is out getting breakfast, Maya gets a little snoopy and finds out he has the book. She's been played when all she wanted to do was protect her heart.
Oh, so I'm the villain.
Yes, you're the villain! Like, hello? Terrible man. Michael's phone is ringing, but he's outside playing basketball with Duke, so she answers. It said work on the caller ID, but she hears his mother's voice. Candace confronts him and tells him to get away from her. Lauren is being a bit standoffish with Dominic. She hits him with the good news, bad news, but gives him the good news first. Her investor friend wants Dominic to call him. Yay! But then Lauren breaks it off with Dominic for her ex, and he doesn't take it well. I will say Dominic was very sincere in his pursuit of Lauren. He did try the book thing, but it was more of a let me be the man she knows I can be thing. And when he was attempting, she dumped him for somebody already established. That sucks. Bozo comes home to find all his stuff back in the living room and sees that Kristen left a note on the book saying she's just done and left his bogus resume in it. Everybody sad.
Wait, fellas. I think we brought this upon ourselves.
Facts. Cue a devastating montage of sadness set to Talking to the Moon by Bruno Mars. Bozo is moving up in the world, and the first person he wants to call is Kristen, but she's not talking to him still. Dominic got himself a food truck.
Cooking because I have to. Cooking because I want to. That's my wife.
God forbid a man loves his wife. They start complaining about women like it's their fault they were dopes. Then Cedric has a moment and calls his ex-wife saying he's coming home. He's tired of the streets. This is why you don't listen to your single friends encouraging you to stay single. Michael puts his foot down with his mom and she's cool with it. When she tries to rush him out, her man comes down and surprises everybody. Jeremy pops up on Kristen at work and does a big declaration. He only wants to be a better man for Kristen and give her all the things that she wants.
That's my man. Step up there.
I want to buy you this house.
Back up, bitch. You ain't buying my house.
Then he finally pops the question. Clumsily, but he tries and she says yes. Zeke does a public humiliation ritual on himself by performing his very embarrassing song. Maya leaves immediately and he chases her down. He's willing to start over. He'll wait the 90 days even. He wants a real relationship. He's in love with her. Okay. Michael shows up to the family reunion to prove that he really changed. Candace is number 1. When she can't believe it, he makes a public declaration. 3 happy endings. But how does the rest of Dominic and Lauren's story go? Well, she got back with her CEO ex and Dominic has his food truck up and running. On their date, James won't let her get a word in edgewise while talking about how amazing and accomplished he is. And Lauren has an epiphany. She knows what she wants, and what she wants is Dominic. She comes to his grand opening and disturbs business. He's not accepting her so easily, but when he sees that she really means it when she pours her heart out, they get back together. This was longer than I anticipated, but I had an okay time regardless. I think I've said most of what I wanted to say in the initial commentary, but I don't think I can stress enough how much accountability was avoided by these men. Like, they acted like it was hurting them to be normal. Stop chasing people that want relationships when you don't would be step 1 in making your life easier, Zeke. If you knew you wanted one and done, you could have had that. But no, you wanted to prove a point. He's my least favorite, I don't know if y'all could tell. Because all of that for what exactly? I think the narrative was supposed to be that he was hurt by a girl once and he had no choice but to be a slut, but I'm not buying it. This guy refused to move on like whatsoever, and I still don't know why. Maybe it's a comfort thing, and that's okay, but we all transform at some point, and he was fighting tooth and nail. I'm led to believe they've had a conversation about the other stuff before, but he said no, so she just went with it. But then they started getting older, and things seemed stagnant. Change is hard, and probably she could have eased him into it. But 9 years, bro? Let's say they dated freshman year of college, right? He had 5 years to adjust and he just refused. Now the change has to be forced. I think the narrative for him was supposed to be that he was just immature, which, yeah, that tracks. But I also think you can't be left behind if you just never move forward, which I think better describes him. You can't get rejected if you never put yourself out there. He knew that Kristen loved him enough to stay, so why risk proposing and her leaving? He has a dead-end job, but it's steady. Why apply to his dream company to maybe get rejected, you know? All Michael had to do was not be weird about his mom, I don't know. Seemed like he had the easiest problem to solve here. The story made it seem more out of hand than it was, which is probably why they exaggerated it in the sequel. Mom wasn't demanding all of his attention, Michael basically volunteered it. There's ways to say, hey mom, I'm busy right now, or hey mom, that's kinda rude. Dominic and Barrett will always be my favorites, because who doesn't love a guy who genuinely loves his wife? And Dominic didn't force anything unlike the other ones. He technically didn't lie. He was a chef at the time. He just simply adapted. Lauren already liked him because he had good taste and was hot. He just needed to get that career going and everything would have been good. But what do y'all think? Which was your favorite couple? Let me know in the comments below. Cocoa Cosmos hurt.